All right, welcome to Football After Hours, the NFL Combine live. Very excited to be here. This is Shane's theme music. I'll let the whole thing play really quick before we start.
I mean, we can talk over it, you know.
Yeah, but still.
I don't need to soak up this much attention.
It's so good, though.
It's kind of fun to have it live over the, you know,
Not gonna lie, I
over
forgot
the
about
show.
it. I forgot about it. I thought he had it, honestly.
Yeah. We got the ticker going at the bottom. This is great.
All right, and welcome to the show. The guys are reminiscing about the ticker that I spent 2 hours making last night. Literally 2 hours making.
That you had to redo last night.
I didn't redo. I figured it out. I didn't have to
Yeah.
redo it, thankfully. Joined by the best crew in the business, which will lead you throughout 2026. As Scoop has just joined, let's welcome him in. Scoop, hello.
Hey.
All
How
right,
you doing,
we are
fellas?
here. I love the haircut, by the way. You look fantastic.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
All right, let me finish up the intro. We have the best crew in the business here to lead you through 2026, starting with the
Damn
NFL Combine. Let's introduce that crew, starting with myself. I'm the moderator. My name is Robert Solosi. I've been doing this from about 2019 on to 6 years. Shane's been with me the whole time. What is this year?
Almost 7.
7 now. This is about year 7.
7 in May. That's crazy.
My
So it's
role
about
on this
6, 7.
exactly
Oh,
about
don't
there.
do that.
About there.
All right.
Oh.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye. Okay, so we've been doing this for since 2019. I'm the moderator. I'm the guy who just asks the questions, lets the guys go, works on the outline, works on all the background here. You know, the theme song. Well, Shane did the theme song, but putting it on here, all the background stuff you see, I worked on for hours last night. I do a lot of the behind the scenes work for the show as well. So I'm the primary producer and moderator for the show. To my right here is Shane Hansen, our resident coach. He coaches high school football. He is our guy with the X's and O's knowledge, which we will use here at some point, probably during this show and on every show. He has a whiteboard segment where he kind of teaches you about the game, the ins and outs of the game. He is also our primary editor for our shorts, our reels, etc., which you will see in future episodes, not this one, because I'm going to put up the combine results as we go through. So you're going to see our small, tiny little faces. To my left is Brandon Furtado. I've been working with him since about 2023,
Not
maybe?
two.
2022.
Yeah.
At one of our former employers. When we first started working, I was like, eventually I'm going to give this guy a job. He's so good at what he does. Can't believe I'm still working with him all these years later. He's our resident fan. Of course, Scoop wearing his Eagles shirt. Brandon is our Eagles fan here as well. So 2 Eagles fans, 2 Seahawks fans, world champion Seattle Seahawks up here at the top with Robert and Shane. But he gives our fan perspective, yells about how people on social media are stupid, being fans and all this stuff,
Yeah.
including yelling about bad coaches, which is his specialty, which
I
we'll lean into
would
during the
also
season.
say I'm the writer of the group, so
Yes,
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
we have a Substack. Go follow that, Football After Hours. I'll put that in our chat here. Brandon does a lot of the writing. I do a lot of the editing in the background, but not much editing. And Scoop does some writing as well for us, including myself. There's not much editing because these guys are good at what they do. Finally, Scoop, the newest edition of our group. You know him obviously from What's the Scoop on right here on K&K and Surge Sports. He is our analytical analyst, the guy with all the statistics. We go for him for all of that. And very thankful to be joined by 3 people who very different backgrounds in the NFL world coming together to give you guys the best show possible. Very thankful to be here with all 3 of you to cover the NFL Combine today. The quarterbacks are just starting to run. As I'm going to put this up here on the screen, the Combine tracker. Give me 1 second. I'm still kind of getting used to all of this. But I'll leave the tracker running throughout the day. so that you guys can kind of see what we're seeing on NFL Network. And of course, feel free to put NFL Network on your main screen and us on your side screen, or however you want to do it, just so you can watch along to what we're watching as well. Firstly, Jeremiah Love with a absolutely fantastic day to start the afternoon. Very excited for what he's done, Brandon, to start the day.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. I mean, but that's expected. You know, when you have a guy that's that talented coming out of college, especially like a college, you know, like Notre Dame, where they spit out, you know, fantastic players. Especially, you know, and we always talk about how great he is at the position, can catch the ball out of the backfield, runs extremely fast, extremely powerful runner. I expected no less. I expected a really fast, you know, 40 time out of him. So that's fine. But, you know, like we always say, like, you know, 40 times are, you know, not the end all be all, but even in the individual, in the drills, he was really good, very sure footed, sure handed too. So, of course, Jody's jumping in with this already. Jody said,
Love is going to be a better. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, but you can say it though.
Jody, Love is gonna be a better running back than Barkley, Gibbs, and Genty. Can I say a hot take about Jeremiah Love really quick before you continue, Brandon?
Yeah.
When you have a running back that's this talented, right? That's this talented, this explosive, which is what we saw this morning on the West Coast. To me, I understand the idea that you don't need a running back. There's so many running backs. It's the most plentiful position in the NFL. I understand that. But when you have a guy this talented that you can get, 5, 6, 7 years out of, if you're in the top 10, top 12, I think you reach for a guy that's this special. Don't you agree?
If you can get him there, I mean, I don't think he's gonna want to drop that far, but if you can get him there, you do take him. And I think, like, if you have an older running back, that's pretty much, you know, on the decline. Or if you have one that you kind of just don't trust yet, or that one that's just it's an okay rookie but not great, and you need a solid, you know, number one, then you go get him. Like, to me, I'm different when it comes to drafts. For me, it's like if you have a really good running back that impressed last year, like, I understand you might want, you know, a certain guy, like you might want him and everybody's going to want him. But, you know, like to me, it's like you need to focus on things that are going to win you a Super Bowl. Like, running backs can get you there. They can't win it. I mean, Kenneth Walker just did, but at the same time, that was most of your guys' you know, defense, and then he piggybacked off of it.
But it was the offensive line improving that allowed him to have that great playoff run.
Yeah, and then he
was running through wide open holes.
yeah. And when you're able to fit a Mack truck through some of the holes that he ran through, it's I mean, that's why I always say, like, if you're in round one, if you need a running back or you want to replace the old guy or the very young guy that might be inconsistent, go for it. But that's if you have the old line. Like, you know, like the Raiders drafting Genty last year. You know, we know how great he was at Boise State, but if you're not going to give him an O-line, what good is it going to be? So, you know, that's really why I hesitate. But if any of these teams, if you know you have the O-line, you have a top 5, top 10 O-line, by all means, go get the running back, go get Jeremiah Love. But I just, you know, I'm not that kind of guy where I'm like, if I see other holes that have to be addressed that are Super Bowl contender versus Super Bowl champion type holes, I'm going to go for the trenches. I'm going to go for a corner. I'm going to go for something like a linebacker if you need it. So, you know, but at the same time, he's such a special talent that it's like, I mean, anybody would be happy to have him. I mean, like, of course, like you get all the obsessed fans and or the casual fan that sees a prospect like that, and like, you know, because I guarantee there will be some fans of our teams. They'll be like, oh, go get him. You know, like oh, like, you guys forget you have a Super Bowl, you have a Super Bowl MVP running back, and then for us we have Saquon Barkley. But it's like, you know, people are always gonna want that kind of guy. So it's like he can be in that upper echelon already. Barkley, Gibbs, Genty, all those different Derrick Henry, all those different kinds of guys. So he's special. Today he had a really good day, really really good day. I mean, it's not going to improve his draft stock much because he's already going super high, but it's just a good showcase for him. So that's important.
Yeah, Scoop, where do you have him in the mocks that you've done so far? Do you see him in kind of the Saints Chiefs range or a little bit further down?
So I'm really glad that this came up. And first of all, this is Brandon. This is the top rope, and this is where he just was with a comment that he just made, because I was going to jump in on that real quick, and I'm glad that he set that up perfectly. Because here's the problem: there are 9 teams picking in the top 10 that had among the worst run blocking in the league this year. How many times do we have to watch a freaking top prospect running back go to a team that can't block for the run, and then they get stuffed up somebody's tail on their own team, and then people are wondering why he can't develop and why their offense is struggling to whoever their quarterback is, or it's a vet or a young guy? There is one team that I look at in the top 10, and I'm not breaking any news here. There's one team that's picking in the top 10 that I think has good enough run blocking that they can build on, that opens a space to have Mr. Jeremiah Love back there, where I think he actually can do something this year, and where I think is actually a decent fit for him, because I think he won't be running into somebody's tail every 3 minutes. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs at number 9. Every single time that I've made a pick or made a mock draft, and I've done not what I think they're going to do, but I've done what I would do if I'm sitting at each team's position. And you keep trades out of it. I'm picking Jeremiah Love if I'm the Chiefs at number 9. I'm not touching him if I'm in the top 8. And it's not because I don't think he's a top 8 talent in this draft. I absolutely think he is. I think that if you're just ranking strictly based on big board, based on overall value, based on overall best prospects, you can make a legitimate case, I think, that he's a top 5 prospect in this draft. But a top 5 prospect doesn't mean you should be a top 5 pick. This is where fit always comes in. And this is why you've heard me, ad nauseum, rant about good fits or bad fits in the draft. And I think we all have to varying degrees. And Jeremiah Love, as much as I don't quote unquote love the way that Notre Dame plays sometimes, try facing a conference once in a while, but I think that
ACC.
Yeah. But I think, that aside, can you imagine putting him on, they already have said that they want to put Ashton Jeanty in Vegas into some more of a committee situation. Can you imagine trying to put this guy into a committee? I know they're not taking him first overall, that's obvious, but I'm saying, just as an example, can you imagine trying to stuff this guy into a committee with somebody like an Ashton Jeanty that they already can't get going on a consistent basis? Like, if you start going down the way, the other team that could, in theory, make sense would be the New York Giants, but they already are trying to get something going with Scam Katut.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Cam Scatterbo.
It's back.
It was coming.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
The fact that I called him Scam while wearing an Eagle shirt is just such a great look. Thank God this is not my first time to show. But anyway,
man.
Cam Scatterbo.
Good. Yes.
Cam
Jesus
Scatterbo,
Christ.
there we go.
Finally, he got it. It took him like a year and a half.
Yeah. 26 anyway. They could potentially have made sense if they didn't already have him there. Now, again, the situation exists where, he seems like he is, 2 hits away from, being the backfield version of Tua. But at this point in particular, I think that there's something good there, and I'm looking forward to. Well, I'm not looking forward to seeing it, but you know what I mean. I think that the fans should be looking forward to seeing it this year. When you have Neighbors, him, and Jackson Dart. But yeah, I look at the top 10 because realistically he shouldn't fall in past the top 12, top 13. So that goes back to what you said, Rob. If I'm going and I'm doing a mock draft based on that, like I've seen mock drafts that have them going as high as the top 5. I've seen mock drafts that have them going, that have them somehow falling into the 11. I don't know if maybe they're banking on a Larry Tunsil type video ranking in the draft that day. But I don't see how else he would fall that far. But otherwise, I number 9 is where I would expect him to go to the Chiefs. I could see them maybe making a move up a couple slots if they are really paranoid about somebody taking him. But again, if they do that, I think it would be for Love. And I think it's because they really feel like they're in a unique situation. I promise I'm almost to the end here. But I think they feel like they're really in a unique situation where they don't have the typical needs of a top 10 team. They just really got screwed last year where they took a couple of unfortunate, really big hits. Like there is nobody who stands to get back the value of any of the top 10 teams that Pat Mahomes and a couple other guys. They're just realistically, no matter what you want to say about the Chiefs, nobody is going to get back as much value to their roster automatically just based off coming off the IR. None of the other top 10 teams have a Pat Mahomes type coming back in terms of value. So with that being said, I think they can afford to take risks that other teams can't. And that's where I think Jeremiah Love makes the most sense.
Yeah, and Jody asked a really good question, and I'll start you with this, Shane. When you compare Genty and Love, who do you like more coming out as a prospect? How did you feel about Genty last year? How do you feel about Love this year? Are they comparable? Who do you like more when you were looking at them as prospects, or when you were looking at Genty as a prospect compared to Love as a prospect?
Yeah, it's Genty was weird for me because he's so like, I mean, let's just do the elephant in the room. He was not a Power 5 guy, right? So it's just, and I hate to say that, but there's just naturally going to be questions about, okay, how's he going to do against good defenses? And, I think I liked Genty just because, I mean, we did see the upside. And, but with Genty, it was like, he's very compact. He's a very powerful runner. Good, pretty good vision. And Love is, I feel mostly the same way with him. He's not like huge. But he's very, I think he's got really good like straight line speed. And I guess just like explosiveness. I also really like his receiving game quite a bit. I think basically with both of them, I think there's high efficiency with both. And overall, I would probably take Love, just because to me he's much more three-dimensional, if you will. Like he's quicker, he's a better receiver, and he's about as good of a kind of a bruiser as Genty is. So, I mean, I would. I mean, looking at Kansas City, I don't know if I love him going there. No pun intended. Because I do not like that offensive line at all. I mean, you got Creed Humphrey and whatever the right tackle. Can't even think of his name right now, but otherwise,
Taylor?
No, the right guard, Trey Smith.
Yes, Trey Smith.
I like the two. I like Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, but otherwise, the other three guys, I mean, they're just warm bodies. So I mean,
please no.
Of the top 8 guys, I could, or the top 10, I mean, I feel like he could be really interesting in Washington or in New Orleans. I
Yeah.
think they both have decent offensive lines. And I mean, Kansas City, I think Isaiah Pacheco is personally, I think he's the worst starting running back in the league. Um,
No argument there.
and I've been saying that for a couple of years, but I mean, chances are you're going to lose Kelsey. The receiver situation is very turbulent, or topsy-turvy, I mean. And Mahomes, I mean, yeah, he's been good in the past, but the last 2 or 3 years he's really been played quite poorly. And now he's coming off a pretty major injury. I mean, we're not even sure if he's going to be healthy the first month of the season. So, so I feel like they have so many more needs other than running back. I mean, if I'm them, I'm going for a left tackle. I'm going for probably a corner and maybe a receiver before I'm touching Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, Trevor just said could see the Chiefs go O-line. You just said left tackle.
I think I like
Yeah.
Suamataia at guard more than you do, but I mean, that's just splitting hairs at that point. I just think I have a higher opinion of him than you do.
Yeah. No, and I mean he's fine. I don't know. A lot of people seem to think like, well, the Chiefs are just going to bounce back and be fine again next year, but I don't see it. I mean, especially with how good, and I'm not saying you're saying this, Scoop, but like, they have a lot of holes and the division's getting tougher.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, we'll see, but
Oh yeah, I don't think that they're going to reach anywhere near their. I think that they've peaked for sure.
Yeah.
But I think what I meant mostly is that I think that the actual nucleus in terms of who's there and who's coming back, I think that they are easily, in terms of the teams in the top 10, have the most reason to believe that they have more room to take a risk in the top 10 than the other teams do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what,
So-
you know what I was thinking, and I was glad you brought it up because I was going to if you didn't. The Saints is where I have him going too, because let's face it, Alvin Kamara is not getting any younger. He's gonna be 31 at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And he's injury prone as is. So it's not getting any better. When you have Kellen Moore there, who turned that offense around, turned that team around the second half of the season, and Tyler Shuck looks like an actual quarterback, looked really good the end of the season.
Heck yeah.
If you give Kellen Moore an explosive running back like that, we saw what happened in 24, won a Super Bowl with it. So I would love to give him another explosive running back.
Respectfully, I will say though, the Saints don't have anywhere near the run blocking capability in the offensive line that the Eagles did that year.
No, yeah, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying in terms of liking their O-line more than Kansas City, because that's kind of where we're kind of having him go. So
okay.
I'm saying like he's a better fit there. And I like the fact that there's a lot of there's younger pieces there offensively that I like that he can that they can grow with, and because Kellen Moore is going to be in his second year as a head coach, so they can only go up from there. There's more kind of there's not any expectations, which means there's less pressure on them, which means that they can go get him as a centerpiece, one of the centerpieces of their offense offense, and build it out. So that's why.
Who do you trust to block for him though, other than Kelvin Banks?
I mean, I don't trust much, but their blocking got better, I think, as the season went on, and it showed in the second half of the season. So I just feel like he's. I mean, and if Alvin Kamara can succeed there for so many years, then I don't see why he couldn't. And he's a more explosive back. So and he's a really good receiving back. Kamara is too, but he can eat up a lot. He can be kind of like what, to me, he if you put him in New Orleans, he would have a better season off the rip than Genti had last year for the Raiders. A lot of that's O-line play, but like we talk about Genti and we're talking about Genti and Love too, with Jody's original point. Genti almost had 1,000 yards behind a crap the worst offensive line in football last year. He had 1,000, and he also had almost 350 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. He had 5 rushing, 5 receiving. So he was really good in both departments for what it was there. So to me, if you put Love behind a better O-line in New Orleans, a good young quarterback, a great offensive mind, it just makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of sense.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Kenny, our boss, our main man, thank you for welcoming us, Kenny, to the show. Very appreciative of all the help you gave us this week. We had a meeting with him on Monday, get everything set. Thank you very much, Kenny. He talked about what we said earlier about the Giants kind of smoke screening. I think a lot of teams, not only the Giants, are going to smoke screen and say,
"Oh yeah, it's the season for that."
Yeah, 100%. All right, another prospect I want to focus on, who just ran. I was kind of surprised by his time. I was wondering if you guys are as well. And it's Malachi Fields. Malachi Fields is an interesting prospect out of Notre Dame. I know our fellow Steelers fan, Adam, has been very big on him. He currently ran a 4.62 unofficial time on a 158-yard split. Not the greatest vert and broad. Is his speed a worry at the next level just based off this, or are you guys less concerned about that in terms of, okay, he's more of a finesse guy, he's more of a slot guy? Shane, I'll start with you. Where do you see Malachi sitting?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a case of like fit is going to matter a lot. Because like if you look at his size, his skill set, and things like, obviously not the fastest guy. He would certainly, I think, could certainly be a good, slot receiver in the league, because, I mean, a lot of those, a lot of receivers that are successful with that skill set, like, they're not very fast guys. It's just because you don't need to be like just a straight burner to be a good receiver. You have to be deceptive with how you run your routes, and which I feel like he can do. He has, not to mention, I mean, he has insane catch radius. So it's just, I think this is the kind of guy where you'd want to get him in the slot and be like, okay, can he be quicker than linebackers and, too big for DBs, kind of in that sweet spot right there, which he definitely could be, because like he's not a great separator from what I've noticed. And, even though he can be kind of, he can be deceptive, his route tree is still not that refined. So, that's just something to consider. But he's also great with blocking and just like getting physical, which is, I mean, coaches love that, obviously. So, I think he could definitely be a good slot receiver, given the right situation, obviously. I don't know. I mean, how high is he expected to be going? Do we know?
Around the Steelers
he's projected.
Range,
oh,
right?
Sorry.
Around the Steelers range. He ran a 4.64 was the second time he just ran. Yes, Scoop, go.
You're talking about Malachi Fields, right? The wide receiver out of
Yeah.
I've seen him projected around the late third.
Really? Because I've seen him kind of get up to the first round.
I mean, I'm sure that there's a team that, I mean, there may very well be a team willing to reach on him, but consistently, I've seen him in late third.
Interesting. Brandon, where do you see him?
I mean, just given how many, just I guess, freakier athlete receivers there are in this draft, I could see him. I don't know if I would see him going that late, but I would think maybe like for me, I wouldn't say late third. I would say probably late second, mid second to late second.
Well, I think
Um,
it also depends on who do you like more than him, because a lot of people I've seen say that they would take 8. There's 8 or 9 guys they would take ahead of him.
Like that's and it's like they just showed his comp and it's pretty almost identical to Michael Pittman Jr.
Right, very much.
So
Yeah.
so I'm like, to me, when I look at him and everything that he kind of encompasses, I see like I definitely see like what Shane's saying to put him in the slot. Like I like he's your possession receiver. So it's like he's a guy to me where I'm just like, he's your big body target. He's kind of like your safety valve target. He's almost like he's not quite a tight end because he's leaner, but he's got like tight end qualities, but he's faster so it's like I think he's kind of like that over the middle, definitely, possession type receiver. Um, I know that he has good high point skills. I know that was one of the biggest things coming into this draft process for him, but I don't like I don't like putting 6'4" guys on the outside and putting them as just jump ball guys. That just typically does not work, at least in recent memory. Like, you guys, Adam's gonna hate me for this. Remember Chase Claypool? So,
Okay.
yeah.
Damn it.
So I mean, and it's funny because Chase Claypool is actually the same height, actually, and about 10, 15 pounds heavier than Fields, but he ran he ran a 4.42. So, around there. So for his size, that was why he was impressive at the time. Speaking of Notre Dame receivers, to me, like, if you're gonna have a guy that big, I would treat him more like a tight end type. So that possession receiver over the middle of the field gets like the dirty yards and doesn't beat anybody off the line and burn them down the field. It's not his game, especially not when you're running a 4.6. So
Yeah.
I think that I can't see using a first round pick on just a guy that's going to be in the slot and be like a real big body possession receiver. I just don't see that. To me, that's kind of a waste. That's why I would say he's probably going to go mid to late second.
And that's the problem with him is just he's a little limited. I mean,
Yeah.
he's and well, you three know this from previous shows, but when you have with your receivers, you have your X, your Z, and your F. So X is typically, like your quote unquote number one wide out. And then Z is like the guy on the other side, on the strong side, and then F is the slot. So, he's too slow to be a Z, and he's not as precise enough of a route runner to be an X. At least right now. That could change. So therefore, by default, he's just kind of stuck in that slot role, which is fine. I mean, every team needs that guy, but it's like, yeah, like you said, it's not really worth it to spend a first round pick on a guy that's just kind of limited as far as the production he can offer. But
yeah. I mean, you look at the other receivers here in this round. I'll pull it up right here. I mean, some guys that have just ran who I really like on this list right here. Let me see when it pops up. I mean, I love Chris Hilton. I thought he had a really
good day.
He had a really good day so far, but a really good day at the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine Bowl. Dylan Bell, Coleman, of course, Malachi here at the end in this first group. Speed doesn't kill it receiver, but Deion Brooks again with a really good 4.31 time. So yeah, I mean it's a much slower group, ironically, than the DBs, Brandon, that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and you know what's funny, that seems to, I guess, I don't know if I've just noticed this, but that seems to be a trend in the more recent drafts where they really are emphasizing now speed at DB and especially at corner, not so much safety. Um, I mean, if you look at the last few years, I don't have to say it because I'll just keep bringing up Eagles all damn day. But Quinion Mitchell, what he ran a 4.33, whatever it was, 4.3 something. So like a really low 4.3.
Oh, I do not
Um,
remember.
He was just and that's considered a blazing time. At
Sorry, a
corner.
buddy of mine was in the comments. Sorry, I didn't mean to get excited on the show.
Yeah,
No, that's fine. That's why I put it up.
Yeah,
That's why I put the stuff up.
I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Dave Vagia. He's been following our shows for quite a bit, and he's a big time Giants fan. God bless his soul. So, good to have him. Good to have him on here. Thanks, Dave. Hope you and Em are doing well.
yeah.
Look at these times. I mean, compared to the first group, obviously we're still waiting for the second group of receivers. Chenando Pride at a 4.32, Everett at a 4.38, and then even if I go here to the linebacking group, which obviously was the most impressive group, Sonny Styles here, who we saw just absolutely torch yesterday. Trevor talking about Chris Brazell. I'll take a look at him shortly.
I straight up do not know anything about him, to be honest.
Yeah, I was very impressed with what he did yesterday. We'll take a closer look at him in a second. Elam Zor and Anthony Hill is obviously here on our bottom line. Let me see who else here. Obviously, Zane Duran was explosive yesterday. Just explosive. I mean, the guy
That's
has a ton of
insane
range.
for a DT. 4.75
Yeah,
for
no,
a DT.
I thought it was 4.76.
Wait,
I guess they
how
must have corrected it.
how big is he?
I'll show you right now. He is 6'1", 290.
Huh.
What's
Wow.
your thinking with that? Tell me, Shane.
Do you
What
mind?
tell me what you're looking for. Tell me
That's
specifically
just
with that
fast
size.
for that size.
Can you
yeah.
elaborate on that? I want to know what you mean on that with the size
Well,
for a DT.
I mean, usually when people are 290 pounds, they can't run a 4.75. You know,
What do they
God-
normally run at that
God-
size? Like a 5 flat?
God doesn't make many humans that way. Yeah, I mean, closer to like 4.9, 5, something like that.
Yeah, to put that in perspective, he's legit only was at 700ths of a second less than Aaron Donald.
What the?
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Kenny
That's
was asking. Kenny was asking, or wanted to ask Shane, and I was going to get to this on the corners and the safeties as a whole. What have you seen so far? I mean, we're looking here. Lorenzo Styles with the most impressive time of the week at a 4.27. What do you look for in terms of? Obviously, they're talking about Caleb Downs. I didn't see much of him yesterday, but what are you looking for corners and safeties specifically in this modern era where they're just so much faster than they've ever been before?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the biggest thing, you know, there's a lot of good, you know, qualities that you look for, obviously, but speed is, you know, is big, of course, as it is with any position, but especially, you know, for the guys out wide. And you know, I think what I look for most with DBs, and this is just my experience as a, you know, I'm a former safety and I'm currently a safeties coach. It's not necessarily like who the quickest guy is. It's more so anticipation. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you're dropping back in coverage, how aware are you of if you're in man coverage, you're looking at the receiver's hips and the way that they're turning relative to the quarterback and his route, and are you anticipating where he's going to go and when do I break and chase with him, or or when do I gun forward, just stuff like that. And are you reading the offensive tackles for pass block versus run block? It's little things like that, because obviously the thing that's tricky about playing defense, and especially playing in the secondary, is the offense knows what they're going to do. You don't. You don't know what they're going to do. You have to try and figure it out as it's happening. So, it's not only do you have to be quick, but you have to, like, physically, but you have to be mentally quick and dissect what's going on, and then make a split decision with your body what you're going to do. And that's what I that's what I don't like about the combine, because you don't see stuff like that in the combine. When you tell somebody, okay, run past this cone and then that one, it's like that's not real in-game situations, or
Right. Who do you like as your number 2, Shane? I know you're still doing tape on these guys, but who are you most intrigued by as kind of your number 2 safety so far?
I think, it's interesting because the safeties this year are so diverse as far as their skill sets.
Mhm.
I think this is a year where the place they go is really going to matter, and how their team utilizes them. Caleb Downs is definitely the best, that at least that I've seen so far. He just has elite instincts, incredible range, great playmaking ability across the board. My second favorite is probably Dylan out of Oregon.
My guy.
Brandon's gonna just lose his mind, is the way I'll put it on this show.
I was giving Rob a detailed breakdown of him last night.
Yeah,
So,
I want
not one part of that surprises me.
Well, I gotta ask the people I know about these damn prospects, and I'm just learning about them. But I'll pull up Thiemann really quickly, as Shane goes on him, because he had a great day yesterday.
Here's what I really like about him is, obviously he's very quick, but he's really, not only does he have really good instincts in zone coverage, but he's also great in the box. And he's the kind of guy that to me, this is going to be maybe a bold take. To me, he kind of feels like Jamal Adams did when he was on the Jets. When he was on the Jets.
Said that to me yesterday.
Because that was the exact description to a T that I gave about Thiemann to Rob last night.
That's freaking hilarious.
It's every bullet point you're hitting on with him. It's exactly what I said.
That's hilarious.
Exactly to a T what I said.
Yeah. So, I think he would be a great strong safety.
Excuse me.
I also think he would be a great nickel corner. You know, I think you could do like a little, you know, you could use him kind of like a Cooper DeJean or a Nicky Manwari type of guy. You know, so I guess it just depends where he goes and what they decide to do. But yeah, I think he's really interesting. Um, I'm still looking at Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
Yeah,
I,
he
you know,
reminds me a lot more of Nick and Maury in terms of his play.
yeah,
so
yeah,
far.
and right. I also like um, Ramsey from USC. He's interesting. You know, I think he has really good size, and um, he's also very good in run support, which you don't always see with DBs. So yeah, that's probably my general board right now.
Ramsey 60202 ran a 4.47, 36 vert
He's
10 broad jump.
definitely, yeah. I mean, he would definitely be, um, he would definitely be a strong safety. Like, I mean, there's no chance he plays free safety.
What's the difference there? What are you looking from free to strong? Expand on that piece.
Well, strong, you're playing on the boundary side, so there's less field to cover because it's shorter than the field side. And so free safety, you want someone that's quicker and has, you know, better range, and you know, you're a lot of times for free safety, you're going to be providing help for like the X receiver who can be, you know, more of a tricky route runner. Whereas strong safety, you know, you're in tighter areas, so you want to be more like almost closer to like a weak side linebacker, where I mean, yeah, you want to be good in space, but like more so, can you be sort of a disruptor in a closed area? And you know, you'll be lined up like in the box a lot more, or sometimes on the line of scrimmage, just, you know, stuff like that. So that's the main difference. That's why, like, you know, I mean, a great example is Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor, where, you know, Earl Thomas, free safety, incredible speed, range, coverage ability, you know, and then Cam Chancellor, much more strong safety, much more of a bruiser, not as fast, but just, I mean, he gets in there and makes your day horrible. So, you know, but yeah.
All right, let's take a look at who Trevor wanted us to take a look at in Chris Brazell. Let me quickly see here. Out of Tennessee, 6'4", 198, 3.7 or 4.37, 152 split so far today. Pretty quick overall, guys, as you would expect for this position. Definitely looks like a guy with his size that can be very shifty.
Excuse me.
Yeah. This guy would. This guy's going to be I would say a great Z receiver. Which, now I'm looking at it, there it is,
There
right
you
there.
go.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, because his deep ball ability is crazy. Yeah, I mean, not only his hands, but just his tracking. And then I mean his speed obviously is huge. But the thing that's crazy is like normally Z receivers are smaller guys, like Tyreek Hill, 5'10", you know.
Mhm.
And therefore boundary corners who guard them or one-on-one with them are also usually smaller guys because they're just quick and whatever. So when you get a 5'10" corner on a 6'4" receiver, okay, good luck.
Anything else on him, Brandon, Scoop? Anything that you're noticing?
I think I'm just a little bit at his size. I'm worried that he's a little skinny. Because he kind of falls anywhere between the high 190s and 200 even. So, for me, it's like somebody at that height, I would like to see them, be more at like, at least 205, 210, rather than, somewhere in the 190, high 190s. So I worry a little bit because, like, I know it's a way different position, but, Jaden Daniels is 6'4", 210, but he looks skinny, and he is skinny. So it's like 6'4", 198 to 200 is skinny. So
It also depends, like you've talked about it before. Like it's not just your weight; it's how you wear it and like how
it's how you use it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the thing is, here's Carson Beck throwing, by the way.
Yeah, let's see how he throws here really
Yeah.
quickly.
But yeah, it's I worry with guys like that who are considered to be like, good down the field guys and all this stuff. Like I'm worried that at that with a big body like that, like at that height, I should say, like I want you to be more of a physical receiver. I don't want you to be more of like a try to be like a shifty route runner type down the field guy. I just don't think that works. So I mean, and listen, he could put on 10 pounds, which I think he should put on about 10 pounds when he gets to training camp, by whoever drafts him. But and obviously fit matters, but that's just my one little I think complaint with him. He's a little bit skinnier than I would like at that size.
Yeah. Kurt, our other boss, what's up? Good show. Thank you, Kurt. Obviously,
doing, brother?
Bobby as well, running Search Sports.
How you doing, brother?
Our boss is in the building. Thank you
Kurt?
very much for all the support this week. We very much appreciate it. Anything on Brazil, Scoop?
Not particularly. He's definitely somebody in whom I would have to look into more before I'd be comfortable sharing a ton of my personal thoughts on the guy.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a really quick prospect spotlight for our Alabama and our Oregon guys here. Our first one is going to be for Scoop on Ty Simpson. What do you expect to see from him today?
Right. So, I mean, excuse me. I mean, it's no secret to anybody who's watched either show. I do believe that Ty Simpson is somebody who has not gotten the love or the respect at times that I think he deserves. Now, again, I'm not saying I think he goes in and shows today that he should be a week one starter. I don't expect that from anybody today. Frankly, I think that even Mendoza, I think, is somebody who could benefit from perhaps not being thrown behind a Raiders offensive line or weapons week one, but that's beside the point. Ty Simpson, I think at times this year looked like he was a little overwhelmed. I think at times, he showed that he was able to make deep throws. I think at times he was able to show that there's a lot to work with in terms of his being able to hit different levels of the field. I liked you guys know I love versatile quarterbacks. I think a lot of the people that were criticizing him were mostly they didn't like or they thought that they needed more time with him. I know you, Rob, had said that he should come back for another year and put more on the tape, so to speak. And some of he kind of had a Jekyll and Hyde type of season where he was really good in the beginning and he had some of his rougher games later in the season. In terms of what I would expect to see both today and going forward. Again, today is kind of, I think, going to be a little bit for any of these guys, and I think it's very true for Ty Simpson. Today might be a little bit misleading, just because, again, no pressure. And what he struggled with a decent amount this year was pressure. He didn't grade very well under pressure this year, so particularly toward the end of the season. So even as a fan of his, he may look a little more polished today than I think he actually is, because some of the deep throws that he made that he struggled to make this year, especially under pressure, I don't think those will kind of obviously are not going to be particularly exposed today per se, because again, he doesn't have 5 huge guys going down his throat. So I think that he is going to potentially struggle to shake some of those. I don't want to say naysayers per se, but shake some of those cynics. Yes, concerned cynics about him. I love his intermediate play. I love the fact that he was able to make a decent amount of big time throws and relatively limit a decent amount of turnovers. I think he needs to cut down his time to throw. He took about 3 seconds to get rid of the ball on average this year. He's obviously got to cut that down. But again, you guys have heard me talk about it. I think this is as a fan of his, I would not put him this year behind, or I'm sorry, I would put him this year behind a veteran quarterback. I'd put him in a situation like an Alex Smith for that Pat Mahomes had. I put him in a situation where he's sitting behind a veteran quarterback who is probably up there in age and a little bit long in the tooth, maybe a Matt Stafford, or maybe somebody who has about 1 or 2 years left to play. Probably, maybe a better example would have been a Jordan Love type of situation, because I'm not necessarily saying that I think he comes out the gate hot to start next season either. But I think that he definitely is one of my favorite quarterbacks in this draft in terms of upside. I certainly would not advise anybody to start him out the gate week 1 and expect to win 11 games. I'm not that biased. But I do think that he's got, again, I think he's better in the middle of the field than he is throwing deep. I think he showed that a lot this year. I don't think he's bad deep, but I definitely, he's not somebody that I would expect. I wouldn't draft him expecting him to become a Brett Favre. But I think that he, especially in this, like a lot of people criticize him for coming out this year thinking he should come out next year. I always had a bit of a confusion with that, because he comes out next year. Now, again, if people love the class next year so much, which again, I am reluctant to fall in love with next year's class, because we fell for that with the Spencer Rattler thing, and he became a forgotten man in New Orleans this year after being drafted on, I think it was day 3. So I'm always reluctant to fall in love with a QB class a year early. But people have said that they thought he should. But people have said that they thought he should come out next year, and I don't really follow the I don't really find myself following the mentality that he should come out next year and potentially be a QB4 or a QB5 in the draft class, where I think this year I don't know if I would say he's definitely the QB2, but I think he's either QB2 or QB3. And I think that there's a lot of room for teams that need a quarterback, maybe not right away, to go in and grab him, because I think that next year you run the risk of him being picked by a team that needs a quarterback right out the rip. And now maybe next year he's more ready to do that, but I'd rather he spend this year learning and developing in an NFL situation than I would rather have him going out there, because again, if people are so concerned about, Bama quarterbacks, if that's following him truly, Bama quarterbacks are not, in a situation where they're developing what really is going to be realistic for an NFL rookie, then what is another season in a Bama situation going to do to improve that? I mean, it may negligibly, but I think his ability to achieve his full upside is far better served being a QB2 or a QB3 on an NFL bench.
Yeah, I like that Kenny said here the Cardinals or the Jets in the first round. Again, I think Scoop is right in the sense that, as you said earlier, like putting him in a veteran situation that the Cardinals and Jets don't really have at the moment.
As a fan of his, I pray he ends up on the Los Angeles Rams right now.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, to our next spotlight. Shane, I have one for you too. worry about it. I have one for you as well. We're gonna go to
Oh, good.
Brandon's spotlight here, and it goes into Trevor's question about Kenyon Sadiq. And Brandon, I'll be honest, we saw it yesterday. The gap between him and everyone else is gigantic. Like it is huge for Sadiq.
I
Special
I
talent.
even said it. Yeah, he's super special. And I said it during the college football season. Everybody kept saying that Eli Stowers was gonna win, the best tight end in the country award. He did, and he didn't. I'm not saying he had a bad season at all. He had a great season, fantastic season. But Sadiq was the best tight end in the country. Sadiq was robbed of that award. Because I think Sadiq's a better blocker. I think Sadiq is much faster. Sadiq had more touchdowns. Sadiq could literally, as a tight end, run every route on the field. He's almost like a wide receiver playing tight end, and he's still super strong. The only knock on him is that his arms might be a little short. I've noticed that a little bit, but Sadiq, I mean, especially after that combine, you would be, to me, the gap was already big. Now the gap is massive. Sadiq is far and away, he's actually the best tight end in this class by a mile, and in these two or three guys in this grouping here, he's the best prospect on paper that I've probably seen in a long time. To me, he is, or he's going to be, what Kyle Pitts should have been. That's what I look at, and the thing is, he's faster than Kyle Pitts, so he's faster and he's got better hands. So I can't. I feel like I mean, usually I talk forever about all my guys that come out of Oregon, or of course, like similarly in the NFL, we talk about Philly a lot, but I've said so much about Kenyon Sadiq. I can't say much more because he does everything at such a high level that we're gonna see what the mock draft 2.0s look like. But even in the mock draft 1.0s I was seeing today, and some people had him going 26, 27, 28. I'm like, you're out of your damn mind. He's a top 15 prospect in this draft.
Really
Why the
quick,
hell do you
Brandon,
have him go?
really quick, I apologize. This is one of my favorite strengths of all time from the legend, Lance Zierlein, the NFL analyst here on NFL Network. Built like a bodyguard. I love that because it's exactly what he's built like. Built like a bodyguard is perfect.
He is a scary man. Because there are people that are like, oh, he's more of like, he's like everybody kept saying about Kyle Pitts when Kyle Pitts came out. Oh, he's like this wide receiver that's in, like, he's a tight end in a wide receiver's body, but Pitts was a little bit slower and a little less, on the hands part of things. Sadiq has all of it. Sadiq literally has all of it across the board. Blocks super well. And the thing is, when you're there's people that I see in comment sections, and here's where I go into my usual social media sucks stuff.
Yeah, which is great. We love it. We love it.
But there's people in comment sections that I kept seeing over and over saying he can't block. If you're at Oregon, you have to know how to block. All they do is run the football. So he does. He can't block, I would say, off the line of scrimmage, but he can't block. I don't say he can't. It's just he's not as good at it. But in one-on-one scenarios, especially if he's down the field on a blocking assignment, he will pancake the hell out of somebody. He is so strong and so just incredibly physical that I've seen him toss guys. So it's he just the only knock on Sadiq is his arms might be a little bit short. But to me, I don't care because he literally has everything else you could want in a tight end and then some. So I like having him out there, you might put him as a tight end, but it's like having a third or fourth wide receiver out there because that's just what he is. And the thing is, obviously, tight ends, a lot, to be a tight end and to be a receiving tight end, you got to be able to be a really good receiver going down the seam. Nobody was better in college football this year at that position doing that than him. Every time I saw him just streaking down the seam, I'm like, that ball's going to him. And sure as hell, Dante Moore, bang, touchdown. I was like, yep, there it is. And it's not just it's not just the fact that he's got breakaway speed from linebackers and the kind of slower, nickel corners that cover him. It's that there was some throws I saw like where Dante missed, like where that ball was not like I thought it wouldn't even be caught, and Sadiq either caught up with it and caught it, or made a ridiculous grab, like full 360 or towards the sideline. Like he quite literally, just in terms of everything that he does, in terms of just pure athleticism, and I'm not even saying it because it's my guy, just in pure athleticism, he to me is the best tight end prospect of all time. I've never seen.
That's a hot take, but I kind of love it.
I've never seen anybody else. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying he's going to be the greatest tight end ever. We have to watch him play in the NFL, but just as a prospect, he doesn't just tick the box, he obliterates the boxes as he's checking them off. So it's ridiculous. I could talk about him all day, but
I love how you finish up right as he's coming on our bottom line here. How high should Sadiq go? I have a spot for Sadiq. Tell me if you guys think this is crazy. Miami Dolphins.
Oh, Sarish would have a field day.
They
for those who don't know, one of my best friends.
Yeah, we gotta get him back on the show. Can we get him back on the show to do some Dolphin stuff when we get there?
Yeah.
I would love to get him back on the show.
Yeah, they're drafting 11. Do you think that's too high for him?
No, I don't think. I think 11 is the perfect spot for him. Actually,
I think top 15 is where he should go. I mean, we'll see where he does go, but
Howie Roseman, I will give you my firstborn if you trade up to get him.
oh my God. Jody said 30 to the Broncos. He's not falling to 30 anymore. He's not falling enough. No way.
That's just wishful thinking.
I mean, the Broncos make sense, but I doubt he falls to 30 unless he has, again, as I said earlier, unless he has like a Laramie Tunsil type video leak in the middle of the first round.
Speaking of that, did you guys see this? One of Mendoza's interviews were so good. And we're not going to talk about Mendoza. Everyone knows about. We're not going to touch Mendoza today much because he hasn't thrown yet. Someone said we want you to get arrested so we can draft you later, which I think is the perfect for just one of the most fun prospects you'll ever see. All right, Shane, I got your prospect spotlight. One of our UW kids who has actually been mocked to the aforementioned Seattle Seahawks, also in this area. One Denzel Boston out of the University of Washington. What have you seen from watching him on tape? And of course, I know you keep a close eye on the UW program.
Yeah, he's he kind of like came out of nowhere. It felt like, but to me, he's probably like a late first round guy. When I look at him, I think to me, he's not, I don't look at him and think like, wow, this guy's amazing. He's, but it's like, he's solid, he's got a big frame, good length. He is great at making contested catches, and just very reliable hands, he's not like the fastest guy. He's definitely not a burner by any means, but I think, I think he has the potential to be, a really reliable X receiver in the pros. I mean, we'll see who ends up taking him, but I just think, yes, Trevor, I love that.
I loved it. Trevor said for the audio listeners, Tampa on's a free agent. Even the Saints the Saints have a lot for Sadiq. I think I think the Saints again have a lot of options that we got to. But yeah, Tampa's a very fun spot for sure.
What about the Giants at 5? Is that
don't do that to me.
I know that would break
Wait, Tampa-
Brandon's
wait,
little
the-
eagle heart, but
Wait, the 5 for who again? For Sadiq?
for Sadiq.
yeah.
I feel like it's too
I-
high because the
I don't-
Giants have other needs.
Yeah, I don't think they would. Yeah,
Right.
and they need to protect Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
no, I
like,
know. But I'm just saying, it's the Giants.
How do they-
praying
Would
to
we be
God.
surprised?
trying to be objective here. How do they not go OT there if one or both of the guy whose name I can't say or Fano fall to them?
By the way,
no, I know.
O linemen are tomorrow, so we're not going to cover them too much. We'll probably cover them a bit next week. And
Yeah,
on
but
what
I'm just
the Dubai
thinking in
mentioned,
terms of need. I'm just thinking in terms of needs at 5.
I don't see that. Do you like the comparison, Shane, of Boston and Nakua, or you think that's a little far fetched?
No, that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
No, it's Boston is way bigger, more physical.
Yeah.
Nakua is much more speedy, shifty. I mean, Nakua is a true Z, whereas Boston is very much an X. I mean, they're that's the dumbest comp I've ever heard in my life.
And really quick, Shane, just for our new audience, and also I keep forgetting. Can you explain the X and the Z and all this stuff again? Just really quickly.
Yes. Well, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but so X is like,
Are we recording again? Let me get you
I
going
guess we
here.
might as well. Hold on. I gotta erase all this crap that's on here.
How do I effectively do this? Can I?
Oh
No.
my God.
Yeah. Wait. Let me get
What?
Shane here.
Now Rob's all
No.
nice and big for us.
I want Shane to be big, not me. Yeah. There we go, baby.
Whoa,
There we go.
Wait a minute.
All right.
There we go. Hell yeah. There we go.
So if we just
No, I wanted Shane.
no.
God
No,
damn
You're
it.
having
again.
too much fun with the technology.
yeah.
Stop it.
There we go. I got him. There we go.
So
my Goodness
if
gracious!
we're well, that's a reflection from the light.
There we go. I got him. I
Ignore-
got it. I
ignore
got
that.
the kinks. I'll work out the kinks. Don't worry about it. We're getting used to it.
So if we're looking at an offense, you guys know this, but if there's any new listeners, the center is the square in the middle, and then the other offensive line
Yeah.
the center is the circle in the middle, and the other offensive line.
What happened to you?
What?
did this
Fuck
backwards.
that. He did it backwards. Jody said Fields best
my God.
second best receiver in the draft. We talked about it earlier. We're not so sure about that. I love that Shane. The minute we give him a spotlight, like a big screen, he screws up.
The center is the square, and then the other linemen are.
Close your window.
There we go. That's not a window; it's a light.
It looks like a window.
I gotta
my
look good while
goodness.
I'm on camera.
Yes, I know. We all gotta
so-
look good.
So let's just do, we'll just do like a typical 11 gun personnel, right? So you have quarterback over here. He's represented by the Q, which is backwards. That's really annoying.
Hey, look, let me see if I can flip
Actually,
you. I
yeah,
can probably
flip me.
flip you around.
Wow. That really is for football after hours.
Customize alignment.
Or can I do it myself?
Boom!
Hey,
Yeah,
there you
there we
go.
go. We
Yeah.
flipped him.
no.
Wait, no, other way.
Not-
There
There.
it is.
Okay.
Did that work?
Yeah. Now the Q is right side over.
Yeah, I did it. We're
So-
figuring out the technology. Woo!
Um.
Yeah, flip me.
So
That's
H-
so good.
So Q quarterback, H is running back or halfback. So then, if let's say the strong side is over here on the right, okay. So X is gonna be the wideout to the left. Y is the wideout to the right, the strong side. And then, sorry, Z. What is wrong with me today? Z is the wideout to the strong side. Y is the tight end, and then F is the slot receiver. So we'll just put him right here for right now. So, so essentially, you want, when you're looking at receivers for X, this is the guy who you want, like your elite, precise route runner who is great at contested catches. So, great examples of this would be, from this year, JSN. What's another one? And there's plenty. Devontae Adams. Just look at all the other. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay.
But the Amon-Ra, like, is like, we have guys like, excuse me for interrupting. Like, if you're talking about Adams in his prime, very speedy, but also really shifty. Amon-Ra to me has always been a shifty receiver, primarily at that X spot.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, so that's the X, and then Z is like your speedy receiver. That's the guy that stretches the field vertically. So this is Tyreek Hill, Puka, CeeDee Lamb, guys. What are some? Jameson Williams. Just go to
J-Mo, baby.
Since we were just talking about Amon-Ra. Yeah. And then F is obviously, your slot guy. So, anyway, so yeah. So the Denzel Boston Puka comparison is dumb because Boston's an X, Nakua's a Z. So like it's completely different. But in any case,
I think they just comped them based off size and
right.
the aspect.
Even then though, isn't Boston like a couple inches taller? And
it's like never totally accurate. Like
yeah, even though they measure them. Shane, I think you said you had a non-football whiteboard thing. Do you want to do that?
What?
No,
What?
That was a joke because
that a joke?
It's
I'm so confused right now.
Basically it's so we have our music playlist that we'll get to in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that shortly.
And
that's gonna be awesome.
And so I said, quote, let's see, let me find it in our chat. What exactly I said.
Oh jeez.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you for enjoying our illustrations. Trevor saying the flip committee. That's me trying to figure out the technology. So
what the hell is a flip committee?
Because it's trying to flip Shane around.
I said
to the
flip
right
me.
Thing.
Here comes Carson Beck's deep ball.
Oh boy.
All right, let's see.
Okay, yeah. So I was listening to all.
It actually wasn't bad.
It actually was really good.
I guess it's when there's no defenders on the field. It's a different story.
And I said the difference in music theory between all of our playlists has my perfect pitch ear very excited.
Oh yeah, that.
And then I said, you guys are going to be talking about the lyrics and the vibes and stuff like that. And I'm going to be like, this song feels like winter because it's full of minor keys with Aeolian chord progression. So then I was like, I should just explain on the whiteboard what I mean by that. But then I was like, no, that's my nerd brain's going to just.
I signed up. I signed up to talk football and sports, not music theory.
Let's get to our playlist.
Yeah.
While we're doing this,
yeah.
But go ahead, Shane. Continue really quick.
No, I'll just touch on it briefly, but I'm not going to go into great detail.
I think I can put it in our chat here and restream all of our playlists so that if you want to listen to it, I don't know how you guys keep stepping up the playlist, but it's it's really impressive what I think you guys did as a whole with the playlist. I think overarchingly, the thing that sits with me with this group, with us four overall, is I just think, oh, Shane, this is unlisted. I can't post this up. No.
Oh, boy.
That's a problem.
Wait.
All right.
Yeah, unlisted. As long as you have the link, you can open it.
Oh, good
Yeah.
point. Good point.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Dang it. I don't know. The YouTube's really weird with how they unlist stuff.
Private.
That
would
is true.
be
Yeah, that's
private.
right.
That would
Private's
be
different.
the case.
All right. While I put this up, I think what's so impressive, and we do this every year, like towards the end, we've been a bit delayed with the Super Bowl coverage and everything, but we do this twice a year. So we do this once for Super Bowl week and one like right before the season with different themes. And how this got started was Brandon and I just started about music. I mean, you see the posters that he has, you see the weekend right there,
Yeah.
right? Like you see these very
Yeah. I'm back here.
specific things with that. And actually, Nikki had a good question that I want to get to first before we do the music, just to skip over. Dallas franchise tagging people doesn't really matter because they're restructuring people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my thought.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what they do because CD's contract is going to get restructured. Dak is going to get restructured. They're restructuring contracts to sign Pickens. That's what's currently happening. But so as I post this, so that's how we got these started. So I'm posting up, I think this is Shane's first. So I'm just going to write those down here as we go. But I think what's impressed me the most is just how different everyone is in how something as simple, Brandon, because in our previous employer, we did summer and you're like, we want to do winter. And
Yeah.
everyone's approach was so different to what that theme was. That was kind of the idea, just open end. What does winter mean to you in terms of music? And every single one of us had a different thought process on how to approach it.
Yeah.
So you can start with there, Brandon.
And I figured we would, because all of us come from, different kinds of backgrounds musically.
shucks.
You've got, like, of course, we all know that out of the four of us, like I went into this, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for Shane's because Shane's gonna be the most laid back, and it's gonna be the most like it's gonna be the most jazzy, bluesy sound I can imagine. And I'm like, and with some sprinkles of some other elements in there, but not much. And it's like with you, Rob, I expect pop music. That's what we got.
Right.
So I'm like,
yes.
yeah, I know what we're getting here. Like Scoop, I was like, yeah, the second I opened it, I'm like, yeah, I expect a lot of older artists and I expect a lot of country. Got that.
Yep.
And then for mine, I've always told you guys that my wheelhouses are hip hop and rock.
All right.
So, for me, it's like it's definitely like I knew what to expect, but I also like the fact that we all don't border on each other's types of playlists. Like you're gonna get four completely different ones, and you're gonna and it's gonna be like, so it's like you're not gonna double dip really into anything. Like it's not gonna bore you because it's like, you like, and the thing is I can pick and choose songs from the three of you that I liked from all of it. And it's like and it's stuff I even have on my phone, or it's stuff that my grandparents, listened to, or my mom did growing up, whatever it is. So like and I like to think it's funny. I'm at least from mine, I like to think I'm pretty well versed. It's just that when it comes to winter, no music to me like signifies winter more than just heavy kind of sad rock music. So like that's why mine was so heavy into that at times, even though like when we do like summer stuff, I try to like mix a bunch of different things into it. But it is definitely interesting that like I didn't even realize it as I was making it how rock heavy this one was. And I was like, I kind of just let it go a little bit. And I guess, just because it's like a lot of my favorite artists that are more like, when you think of winter and you think melancholy and you think like cold, I'm like, well, there's nothing colder than the sound of a guitar, like a down-tuned guitar. So like that's kind of where my mind, I guess, went. and I was just trying to get inspiration like from my own stuff. I was looking at, because this playlist actually took me longer than all the other ones I've made, and I think that, and it's funny because it's like, but the songs all have a very kind of common theme, either lyrically or just sonically. But it's weird that like this took me so long because I'm going through my playlist. I'm like, well, I don't want it to all sound like one thing, and eventually it all just became that way because it was just like that's what I found worked for the theme I had in my head, and it's now I see why like professional musicians, like when they make full on albums, why like either a lot of their songs might sound the same or a lot of their songs could differ. It could sound like a mixtape or it could sound like a full on straight through just album of like, we like you see certain artists like Metallica. To me, every song from Metallica sounds the same. I hear the same things every time, even though I like their music. But then it's like, but then when I hear like Rob's playlist, I'm like, yeah, pop, 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 pop. Like I'm like, I know exactly what I'm getting like all the way through.
Oh my god, Trevor just. There, by the way, there's a lot of Taylor on Scoop's playlist, but a lot of like winter Taylor. There's like a lot of like winter based.
I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I don't know why he would mention "Shake It Off." That's literally one of my 2 least favorite Taylor songs.
But it's also that's a summer song. That's not a winter song.
Yeah, no, seriously, those like, go together like oil and water.
Like on, I think it was on Scoops. Like on Scoops when I heard, because I forgot about like. Early Taylor Swift I knew about because she was full on country. Like after she became a pop artist after like her second album, I'm like, okay, that's when I just stopped listening because I'm like, she sounds like everything else I've heard on the radio.
That's pretty much when I started listening to her less.
So like I like her first 2 albums, I'm like, okay, fine, a lot of country influence, that's fine. After that, like because the thing is, I used to hear her all the time going to school because my grandfather listens to a lot of country music, so I was like, I used to hear her on CMT in the mornings. So I was like, okay, I like some of those like so like Back to December, I recognized that instantly because I'm like, that's her country era. That I recognized it instantly, and I was like, okay, I understand that. But it's like, but then when I heard like, when I hear anything else past like 2011 for her, it all sounds the exact same. Every single song is a carbon copy of the last one. So it's like, I get that people like her. I can't get into her music at all. Because it's all the same subject matter. It is all the same, either breakup or I hate men type of lyrics, or it's and it's like, and it's all the same sound. It's just pop music. Like it's like when I think about,
you can thank her production changes in the middle of the 2010s for that one.
Yeah. True. When I like, I don't listen to artists where every song sound, or at least most of my artists, every song doesn't sound the same. Even for like. It's why when I look at, like the Weeknd's had different, well, here we go with the whole eras thing. The Weeknd has had different eras. Eminem's had different eras. Linkin Park's had different eras where the sound changes.
Yeah.
I don't like artists where the sound doesn't change. And luckily, like you guys all listen to stuff that's like, okay, you can listen to anything. And I like that because it's like when I talk to other people about music playlists, I'm like, if you show me your music playlist and I see in the first 3 to 5 songs that it's just nothing but like top 40 sounding music, I would just dismiss your music taste entirely. I don't
Trevor,
care.
Jesus, man, but it's not summer related. It's just a dance song. My God, Trevor.
And but I'm not even one that I like to begin with.
I'm just so glad that we each have different things. Like before we really dig into it, I'm glad that we're all different like that because it's refreshing to not hear the same song. Like if I was talking to like to Adam, like Adam and I have a lot of songs in common, like a lot of songs that I've gotten him into that he's gotten me into, and it's like so our stuff would kind of bleed over. So it's like like my friend Eric and I, very similar tastes. So it's like I would hate to, it would drive me crazy hearing like 40 songs straight through of that. I'm like, okay, that's too much. I need some sort of a differentiation here. So when I hear the 3 of you guys, I'm like, thank God it's something different than me just hearing loud drums or guitars in my ear. So like,
right.
It's like, it's as much as I love it, as much as I know the most about that stuff, it's just like, I'm glad that everybody's got something different. But what's funny? I think out of the 4 of us, my favorite, I think overall, because it jumped around so much, is Scoop.
Yes,
I
jumped.
because I'm like, there was some older songs in there, and there were some
Yeah.
very newer ones, and I liked it all, and it was all like it. It might not have always been like, when you think about themes, it might not always be the most cohesive, but that's fine because I'm just like, I like that mix of stuff. Like hearing California Dreamin', that was
Yeah.
cool because I'm like, that's something that I heard that going back to my grandparents. So like that's stuff that I recognize instantly. Fleetwood Mac, I went to see them live. I recognize that instantly, but it's classic. Like you press play and the opening notes, it's like, okay, you're in for something good.
Mhm.
And I don't get that feeling with like modern music anymore, or at least not much of modern music anymore.
Right.
So, but it's like,
There's a
it's like-
reason for that.
well, yeah, I can imagine. But it's like, and the thing is, with each of your playlists, I could picture in my head like what I would use each playlist for. Like
Right. Yeah.
Shane's to me is a late night drive, or I'm sitting alone in my room at like 3 a.m. That's like where I'm at with that,
Yeah, for me,
Or-
it's like it's like
or like
you
a
know,
beach type of vibe too.
no, or like sitting next to a candle while I'm watching football, or just like relaxing,
That's
making banana bread.
If I'm watching football, I want to keep fire as far away from me as possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, I wouldn't lighting.
Well,
lighting
football is a very
candle-
calming experience for me, unlike you guys.
I was about to say,
Wait,
lighting a candle is
wait,
calming. Putting it next to a football game.
whoa. Hold on. So football is a very common and calming experience for you. Yet, this is our
Yet.
flipping theme. Hold on. It gets louder. You get the rock music in there. How?
Well, yeah,
that's not
because-
a calming song.
No, but the thing is, though, it's like because this is like that's a song for like being on the football field
He's not gonna put elevator music.
We're gonna-
to that.
when we're gonna go to battle. But when I'm watching football in my house, I'm like, yeah, this is great. It's a nice Sunday afternoon. I'm just hanging out. Like
I'm stressed out. I'm watching 9 games at one time, and Shane's
Yeah,
like,
you
"Burn
remember-
a candle."
I mean, Robert, do you remember watching the Super Bowl with me a couple weeks ago? You were over there like, oh, come on, give me, and I was just sitting there like, oh, it's a good play,
Yeah, see, I'm very exactly.
That sums up the two of y'all so well.
Well, okay, but here's the thing though, and this is what so let me go even further. When I go to work at our high school that we work at, or that Shane coaches, and I do some work and different things, and whether it's camera work, hopefully some statistical work as well. But it's just like I tell him, I'm like, dude, let's play some old Madden music, let's play some rock, let's go, and he's just like, nah, smooth jazz. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Because when I get on the field and the adrenaline's going, it's like I turn into like you guys when you're watching your team on TV.
Right.
The only time you'll ever see me that way when I come out of
Right.
the locker room, I'm like, all right, let's go, But
You transform like Brian Dawkins.
so
Yes.
kind of,
Brian
yeah.
Dawkins.
But no, but so like on the way in though, if I have that kind of music going, it's gonna like get me, it's gonna get me in that headspace too early, and I just crash out.
Yeah,
I gotta like I gotta it's like, okay, we got
See-
the game plan together. It's gonna go good. Let's just relax, get there. Okay, then
we have to watch the other guys because there's a perfect scene,
Oh, that's a good movie.
and
I'll add it to the list. I'll add it to the
There-
off-season
there's
list.
there's a perfect music scene in that movie, and I'm like, this is what I think of when I think about our football experience, and when I think about like each of us our music taste. I'm like, we need to watch that movie because I'm like, you guys will know the scene when you see it, but it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
damn funny.
I think I can
Yeah.
pick up. I think I can pick up which one you're talking about already.
Yeah,
The thing is with Shane, it's actually a little different because we're in a winter space with these songs. Those are songs I would listen to being outside shoveling snow, kind of thing. Like that's how I would frame it. But before we continue on our actual playlist, because we haven't talked about it obviously on this platform, being new here. Tell us the story of how you came up with our theme song, because I just love the story of how you came up with it.
How did I? I don't even remember.
What?
I want to say, do you remember?
Because didn't you like, wasn't this like part of your band or something? And there was someone who did a riff.
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever?
It was
Oh yeah, I remember this story.
yeah, it was a buddy of mine from school. He had like this he had like a guitar riff that he was working on, and he just had like a little drum track going with it. And so I was like, oh, well, what if we add some bass to it? And so I did that, and then added like another guitar to go with it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And so then that was that was that. I mean, it was it wasn't anything too crazy. It was just like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. And then now here we are. But
Yeah.
yeah. So it was his initial idea. I just like filled it out, I guess.
Yeah. It's both of your guys' music,
but,
and we're very thankful to be able to use it. Brandon, do you have anything more on all of our playlists? Do you have anything more like specific on each of ours that you want to mention? Anything?
I mean, not that I know of. Like I'm just impressed that we all stayed in our lanes, but somehow like at the same time the quality of our music got better. At least for the three of us, because Scoops is new. But for the three of us, like it's like we definitely stayed true to what we like, but at the same time we really made it more. This is probably the most cohesive we've all had it, I think, going down the line. So like because sometimes in these playlists we'll throw in like songs. And I think it's also because we had a more. I think it's because we didn't make the theme too strict this year.
Yeah,
and that's what helped. So
it was just a season. Go for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, like Kenny's saying, get some AC/DC on Brandon's play. Oh, I mean, Kenny, I want to see them this summer. They're going to be at MetLife, so I want to go see them. So that's one of the rock bands, the older rock bands that I'm trying to cross off my list. I've seen Fleetwood Mac. I've seen Guns N' Roses. I've seen the Rolling Stones. So I'm trying to cross AC/DC off because they're basically one of the few left. So
we were just talking about them, you and I.
Yeah, exactly. So,
all right, Shane, I'll let you go next. What did you notice from all of our playlists, and also you can speak on yours?
Yeah, I love those groups too. I'll never forget when I played Fleetwood Mac's drum set. That was cool.
What?
Yeah, you didn't tell Scoop that story. You told us, but you didn't tell us.
Tell the story. That's a great story.
He has this restaurant. It's actually gone now, sadly. It burned down with the Maui fire.
You said he. Who's that?
Fleetwood Mac.
So Mick Fleetwood, are you?
Mick Fleetwood.
Well, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know if you meant him or like Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh yeah. No, you're good. He had this restaurant in Maui. And there was a group there, and there was three guys. It was a singer and guitar player, and then a pianist and a bass player.
Yep.
And so we were there for dinner, and then there were a bunch of people in our party, and they were all drinking, and I was like, I'm not interested. So I went over to the band naturally, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And then they said, yeah, we were supposed to have a drummer, but then he canceled and whatever. So then for the last hour, so the Fleetwood's drum set, one of his drum sets, I'm sure he has 1,000, but one of them was on the stage, and so guest musicians are allowed to use it for their sets or whatever. So for the second half of their set, I played drums with them, and
So,
so that
good.
was cool because it was
Were
you
they
know
like playing Fleetwood Mac songs or
no, just all
just
sorts
okay?
of random stuff,
Okay.
um, but it was just cool because I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I've never played a drum kit. Like it was so easy to play it
Interesting.
because it's
They say that drums are the easiest instrument to pick up and play. That
Wow.
well,
that's what I've
no,
heard.
well, I mean, yeah, I
That's
mean,
what
I've played drums for I don't know 10, 12 years now,
yeah.
but his kit specifically, like it's so well made and so well tuned that it's just like
I would think so.
all the rudiments that you do on it are just like so easy to do.
Hmm.
It's just like wow, it's a lot harder to do this on my crappy $300 kit back home. Um, but anyways, so that was fun. Um, but yeah, it was funny. And then my cousin came downstairs to go to the bathroom, and he looks over and he's like, "What in the hell is going on?" Because I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. But anyway, because they were all upstairs, and then I was on the yeah. But so that was fun. Um, but anyways, yeah, no. So it was interesting. I I noticed it was like everybody has um definitely has there's like a vibe to every playlist, right? And not only that, but like the actual, from a music theory perspective, they all I'm not going to go too deep into it, but every
Just go
one
a
of
little
them
deep, please. I'm very intrigued by this.
okay, but every one of them totally like the music theory of the songs reflect the mood perfectly. I'll start with Brandon's
Nailed it.
because
Nailed it.
because Brandon's had a lot of 10 of his 12 songs were in minor keys, and minor keys are, you know, minor is like sad, dark,
Mm-hmm.
more moody, whereas major is typically bright, happy, triumphant, whatever. So lots of minor keys, a lot of power chords, just like, you know, straight triads, which is very, you know, it's very like, how do I explain it? It's not like it's good for, like heavy guitars, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and then whereas like Robert, for instance, yours was, a very, pop type DNA. Um, and, it was like, there was definitely a lot of, I think we also had a good mix of like ambient sound where Brandon's was very like heavy guitar driven. Robert had a lot of like bright synth. Scoop had a lot of more acoustic sounds, and then mine was kind of like warm Rhodes,
Mhm.
and Rhodes being Rhodes, not
Yeah.
Like
like
Fender Rhodes.
street. Yes. Um, and then, but yeah, no. So then, Robert was like had a lot of like chord loops with less variation, but a lot of harmony that would kind of support the overarching loop that was going on. And then, like Scoop was a lot more of the, a lot of triads like Brandon, but more major keys.
Yeah,
So it's
that's very accurate.
yeah, so it's not as much like, um, so I get, Brandon's is very much has the the tone of like,
Mine is moody.
yeah, no, yours is
Yeah.
like, this is a cold winter day.
That's what
and
I
it
wanted to
sucks,
do.
but I'm putting on a hoodie and I'm going out there. Damn it! Like,
Yeah.
that's what yours. What yours.
That's exactly what I wanted to do too.
Yeah, and the progressions and stuff that you have supports that. Um, and so whereas like, Roberts, for instance, is is a lot more like there's a lot of romantic tension. There's kind of almost like a restless feeling in a sense.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Scoops is like, it's much more kind of nostalgic, sentimental.
Yep.
It's like you're looking out the window, remembering good old times.
Yep. That's
That's
so accurate.
and then mine is, it's a lot more like reflective, intimate. Like sitting by a lamp, drinking a hot beverage while it's nasty weather outside. That kind of vibe. Because okay, now here we go.
Oh boy.
Now
Here
this
we
is where
go.
the hole is dug. So you
This
guys,
is why we do this.
you
It's
had
fine.
like
Don't
the
worry
chord, this like the 3 or 4 chord loops, triads, whatever. Most of my songs had like lots of chords with like extensions, meaning they have more than 3 notes. They have like 5, sometimes 6 notes in the chord. A lot of 7s, 9s, augmenteds, stuff like that. And so essentially what that does is it makes it so that instead of like you just getting this harsh feeling of this dark minor power chord, it's more like, oh, let's sit in this warm feeling, one and reflect on it. And it's I guess like instead of like, I guess the best way I can describe it is, instead of like not harsh, but like sudden transitions to the next chord or the next whatever is happening. It's much more like it doesn't resolve; it just kind of flows onto the next thing. So it's not necessarily better or worse. It's just very different. I could go into much more detail, but I will bore everybody. So, so I will not.
Yeah.
But
I'll be straight up. I don't know half the words you said.
But
I do
we-
from being around him a lot and him talking about this.
I
'cause
get.
love it.
I picked up on some of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it I
Yeah.
picked up on, but the other half I didn't.
it's basically, just like power chords versus extended chords, and the difference in feel that they have.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
essentially the
Yeah.
gist of it.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, Scoop, you're up next. Thanks for your patience as always. I'm very excited to hear, as you're kind of the new one here with this process.
Yes.
What was your thought process like going through it? What did you think listening to our playlist? I wanted you to go last because I wanted to really get a sense of your feeling, as you've
Mhm.
really only experienced this a couple times with us doing these
Mhm.
type of playlists. what was your experience creating yours, crafting yours, and also listening to the rest of ours?
Well, first and foremost, I'll say this. For as many playlists as I've made, they never really have an overarching theme. They kind of just mostly are an easy collection of the most recent music that I've really been super into. Like, let's say I am just kind of trying to get back on my feet in life for something, or I'm like doing like I'm moving somewhere new or whatever. Sometimes I'll make a playlist for that. I made one when I moved to Kansas City. I made one when I moved to the SIP. I made one when I moved to I think when I moved to New Jersey for Seton Hall. I don't quite remember. When I have just come out of a relationship, I will sometimes make playlists for that. But I typically don't keep those for too long because I'm not somebody who likes to sit in that type of space for too long mentally. And that type of stuff just kind of perpetuates it. So this was kind of interesting to actually have a task to theme. That's not really a verb, I don't think, but to create a thematic playlist. And it was kind of interesting because I really wasn't trying to make it sound cohesive. I was more just trying to think of, if I thought of this song, or rather, if I played this song, would it be something that I felt like pulled me to thoughts of winter for some reason, for one reason or another? Or do I have memories of this song, which Brandon hit on the nostalgia part? Do I have memories of this song, listening to this song, that I can immediately connect those memories to having been either winter themed or in the winter time or whatever? So listening to y'all's playlists, I'll be honest, I really wasn't listening to it in the mindset of cohesivity. No, that's not a word. Cohesion. I kind of was just listening for the songs themselves. And straight up between the three, there were only two songs I'd heard before. One of them was on Rob's. One of them was Rob's. On Rob's, rather. It was "What Would You Do" by Tucker Wetmore.
I picked that for you. I knew that. I knew that was going to be good.
It'll probably surprise nobody. The reason I know that song is because of Madden 25.
Yes, that's how I know it, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. It's the best song on that game.
And the other song, in a completely different way that I knew, was off of, I want to say it was Shane's. And it was the theme from Attack on Titan.
Right. Yeah, you put that at the end. It was very smart.
I was about to say you're gonna make Adam so happy if he hears that.
But it's a jazz cover of it.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, by the way.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, because I watched that in, I think it was 2023, I want to say, because somebody pretty much basically was dogging me to watch it, so I pretty much did. And I watched most of that series, I would say. But so definitely that one was very memorable. And then I would probably say, even though neither of those songs were on Rob's, I would say Rob's had the most by people to whom I should say Brandon's, rather. Even though neither of those were on Brandon's, I should say, he probably had the most by musicians to whom I would normally listen on a regular basis. Shinedown, I know a good amount of their music. Obviously, I've said Eminem, I think, is the greatest rapper of all time. So to hear to that, even though I don't really know that song all that well, Rock Bottom, that's not. If I named you 15 songs by him, that wouldn't have been one of them. But I really enjoyed that, and I liked that there was a lot of, even on Rob's, where he's obviously very pop heavy. Even on his, I felt like there was some genre diversion a little bit, which was kind of cool. Like, even if you go into like the fact that it was like more pop heavy, he had the 1975 on there, which was kind of alty. He had like I always kind of think of them as sort of like the I can't remember the name of the band, but they're the band that did the less I know that Tame Impala.
Tame Impala, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of think of them similarly.
They are very similar stylistically, in my opinion, and that's why I like both of them.
Yeah.
So it's a good thought.
Yeah. Ellie Goulding, I hadn't heard in a long time. I hadn't really heard of her since not just Lights, but there was one other song that she did that was really big. But I hadn't really.
Yes, she just fell off so fast after a couple hits.
Yeah, I hadn't heard her in a long time. I know I've heard Kygo a couple times, but not particularly recently. Tate McRae. I mean, you guys are probably going to kick me out of the group chat if I mention Tate McRae in there one more time.
I did that more for you and Brandon. Devil's situation here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Just winning on and off the ice is Jack Hughes right now. I'll just say that.
Facts.
But AJR again, another one where I didn't know that specific song, but oh my gosh,
it's a song, by the way. I put it
Okay,
on
but
the
oh my gosh,
Adam's probably heard it 1,000 times already because Adam's obsessed with AJR.
But really
Okay.
quick, sorry to interrupt, Scoop. For that one specifically, I put it on the playlist 3 days after it came out because I was like, this is perfect for exactly what I want to do. So it's been on there because I started building it. I started building this playlist since November. Since Thanksgiving, basically. I've been building it.
Yeah,
so
you always like meticulously craft it. I make mine in about 3 hours.
I made the most changes on
somewhere
mine.
in between.
I made the most changes on mine. Mine took 7 months, and I made the most changes. I changed 7 songs.
7 months. Well, 7 months and you only changed 7 songs is crazy to me. But
yeah,
but there was only 2 on there that I didn't even recognize the name of the individual who wrote it. I don't know who JXDN is at all, and I don't know who.
He's a very underground rap artist, and I'm very lucky to have friends who are he's my first concert I ever went to because one of my close friends is a huge Jaden fan, gigantic. And so,
it's pronounced Jaden. Okay,
yeah, that's how it's totally fine. People get it wrong all the time. So I went the song that's on there, that album. I saw that whole album live.
That is so cool.
Concert. So that's why I put it on there.
He's definitely eclectic because he's like emo mixed with rap mixed with pop punk. That's
he's putting a lot more pop. His newer stuff is a lot more pop punk. But this era was very rock based, and that's
I'll have to listen
to him.
I'll have to listen to him more.
I'll give you some more of my favorites from him. I'll make sure to send that your way.
Thank you. That sounds cool.
He's very fun. He's a very fun artist. I love his music.
Nice. I loved the cover art for that one though. The kid in the bathtub.
That's him.
And then
that's him. That's him. Yeah,
I figured.
Yeah.
And then the only other one I didn't recognize was Layuv and Lanai.
Lauv.
Lauv. Yeah. He's
okay.
It's Lany.
Yeah. Laney. There you go.
So Lauv and Laney. Okay.
Well, I think it's also spelled.
This doesn't count for my mispronunciations.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't because people mess it up.
Was it like it's like a duo or it's a group? And I think some of the members come from LA, some of them come from NY, so they just combined it.
One's from LA, one's from New York.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's actually cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and then obviously some of the classics, Niall Horan. I definitely have a decent number of his stuff on my Spotify. John Mayer was definitely a throwback for me.
That's for Shane. That's for Shane. He loves
Except
John
you
Mayer.
put my least favorite John Mayer song in there.
That's my favorite one. That's the issue.
That's
my favorite John Mayer song was probably "Half of My Heart," and that was obviously
that's probably my second least favorite.
Oh my
Jesus
goodness Christ!
And then
I need to listen to his early blues stuff.
That's his early stuff is actually really.
I thought that was early. I remember that from 15 years ago.
No, that's 2010.
Yeah, he's been around.
I'm talking
for
2001.
What the hell do you consider early? Oh, okay. I didn't realize he was around for that long.
Yeah.
And then I know Charlie. So what would this be in Roman numerals? Charlie 92.
Yep.
Or Quinn 92. Excuse me.
Quinn 92.
I know. I recognize that from a couple songs I've heard recently. I don't quite remember their names. And I recognize the name French Montana. This is probably the first time I've actively like tried to listen to French Montana
He's
music.
not a good rapper.
I love. You don't like French? I love French Montana. God damn it!
Because you know why? He's so basic. Like
He is basic. That's why I like him.
It's respectfully, it is Rob's playlist.
No, I know that.
No, but no.
I'd never heard of him until this playlist.
I know why Brandon is saying this, but
Yeah.
that's part of why I like him. It's because it's like
Because-
it's the most standard. It's if you
Yeah.
want to say standard rap, like standard rap, not going up, going grungy, going like crazy. He's the set standard currently. So Brandon is right. And either you like the set standard or you don't. So he's right in that regard.
Because he's when he came out, like my biggest problem with him is that like he's like because if you're gonna be a rapper, especially a well-respected one,
Yes.
you need to be somewhat of a wordsmith.
Yeah.
That is true. And he's not. He's not at all.
And he's not even close. He's
not
rhyming
at
like
all.
it's a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of his
So he's
stuff is
basically-
Dr.
Nah,
Seuss.
man.
So he's
Like,
basically
that's
the
not
Marshall
rapping.
Mathers, and he's basically the Marshall Mathers antithesis.
Yeah,
Very
he's-
much.
because,
Yeah, very much
like,
so. Yeah.
Like
But,
all the guys I listen to are way
Yeah.
more like not just lyrically, but just their beat selection. I like more
Yes.
soulful beats, old school beats. So
But that's the thing. I agree with everything Brandon said, but everything Brandon said is also why I like French Montana. That's the weird
That's
part.
well, yeah,
That's
because
funny.
sometimes you just want
Well,
to if you want to turn your brain off and not think about it, then yeah, you would
You've
listen
listened to
him.
French Montana, exactly.
But
Yeah.
but it was kind of funny because I was kind of, and I'll use this to segue into the other playlists because Rob basically had the playlist on which I knew the most artists, even if I didn't know the songs themselves.
Yeah.
And then you went on to Brandon, where I knew about 50% of them. I obviously know Chris Brown and Ken Lamar, even though I'm not a Ken Lamar fan. Well, I'm not a Chris Brown fan either, but then you had Eminem, who you guys know what a huge Eminem fan I am. And then you had other ones like Kings of Leon and Three Doors Down. I just combined those two. That's not a portmanteau that I meant to make. But
It's good. You're good.
so then you had kind of a 50-50 there, because then you also had names like Set It Off and the White Ghost Project and Feeder and Yellow Card. 3 Days Grace I also know. Let me clarify that. And then Those Damn Crows. And I thought that this said Post Malone like 3 times. I had to double check.
It's just the person that uploaded it. It's not the
No, I know, but I got really confused multiple times. And then Gallant, like it was kind of a 50-50 between who the hell is this and I love this band or person.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. And it didn't surprise me all that much, because Brandon and I have talked music quite a bit, and that's pretty much what it is. And 50% of us, it's like, 50% of us talk. It's like, I love this musician, or I love that band, and what the hell are you talking about?
That's a couple of things. I did there was an intention to putting Three Doors Down first and that Set It Off song last.
Right.
Yeah, see, I didn't even think in terms of chronological order when I was listening to these. I honestly didn't even think about that. I kind of, in fact, I don't even know if I listened to them sequentially. I think I might have hit shuffle, honestly.
Those 2 songs were the most intentional for me, because Brad, the lead singer of Three Doors Down, just passed away from cancer.
I remember
Right.
that.
Yeah,
I remember
I
seeing
forgot
that.
about that.
So
Sad.
I put that there because especially when he passed, everybody was posting Away from the Sun, and Away from the Sun is kind of a very cold feeling song, and we were doing winter, so I was like, okay, I'm putting that one on there. And the last one, for obvious reasons, it's called Dad's Song. I put that one on there. So
Right.
those 2 were very intentional for
makes sense.
both reasons. So
That makes sense. But I definitely we already talked about and so I won't repeat like all of it, but like we talked about the some of the songs make just the title of them makes a ton of sense. Away from the Sun, Cold Desert, Cold Star, Beyond the Sun.
that was the point too. I wanted the song titles to make sense too.
That's kind of what I did too, at least for most of mine. So I think we kind of had a little bit of similarity in terms of mentality there. But I really liked a good number of these. I couldn't add them directly because they were on YouTube and mine was on Spotify. But I definitely liked a few of these songs for sure. Even though I hadn't heard pretty much any of them as far as I can remember. But again, it was kind of cool to go from one playlist where I knew, even if I didn't know a lot of the songs, I knew pretty much every artist or band, and then kind of go here where it was like there's sort of a gradient, because then we got to Shane's. And aside from the Attack on Titan theme, I didn't even recognize the names that I was looking at. In fact, I read Bruno Major, and I thought it was Bruno Mars at first.
That's what I originally thought before.
That's happened a lot.
Yeah. And then you kept going through Johnny. I'm gonna butcher pretty much everyone. You had Mac Aris, you had Johnny Balik, you had Renai, Soul Has No Tempo. That's
Jordan
Rakai. Yeah, Jordan Rakai. Anderson Paak.
Anderson Paak is so good. Anderson Paak is so damn good.
He's speaking of Bruno Mars, he is in Silk Sonic with Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anderson is the legend, man. He's a legend. He's so good.
Interesting. I had never heard of him. And then what I really enjoyed was when I saw Pas de Trois, because I loved when I took French for about 9 years. 9's a lot, 7 years. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, cool. I get to listen to, because I don't typically get spurred to listen to French songs these days, or songs that are, French titled. So when I saw that, I was pretty intrigued by that. And then I Ain't Got Nothing But the Blues. I do enjoy, even though it's not really on my Spotify playlist, I do enjoy blues music. I like when I go into either like a barber shop or like a lobby somewhere or whatever, and it's playing either blues or jazz. I enjoy that type of music. I don't go seeking it out, but it is pleasant to listen to when it does come to my ears. So that, and then of course I already talked about the Attack on Titan, but that
was a random way. Like I didn't make a Oscar, but that was like, for me, that was such a random way to end it, because I'm like,
no, it really was. But it was just so funny, because we went from one playlist where it's like, oh, okay, all these are familiar, and then it was like, okay, these are a lot of familiarity, and then the other half is a lot of just completely new, and then we got to what is all this, and then it hits me with, oh, I definitely know what this is. Yeah, so it was just such an amazing gradient and of music, and it was a great opportunity to go and listen to a bunch of different definitely almost completely all new songs, but sort of, I would say probably about 60% across the three were musicians I had either never heard of or barely listened to, and then the other 40% is definitely like, oh, I could name at least a half dozen by each of these.
Yeah. All right, so for
Do
me,
you want me to go back to my own now?
Yeah, go finish up on your own. Absolutely, my bad. Please go.
Okay. So I'll just real quick go through. I mean, you already mentioned the Taylor Swift ones. I had Back to December on here, and I had Cardigan on here. I feel like Cardigan's pretty self-explanatory.
Cardigan is literally, I'm sorry to interrupt. Cardigan is literally cold winter, snow, the song. Like, literally,
pretty
in my
much.
opinion. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it just I think that just made, and I didn't quote unquote intentionally put it number one. It was the first one I thought of. I mean, secondly, pretty self-explanatory. Fly Eagles Fly. I couldn't make a playlist for a football show for winter without throwing that on there. Brandon did get my so-called hidden. I guess it wasn't hidden as well as it should have been. But I did put I Hate Myself for Loving You by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts on here, which probably a lot of people know that was the sort of, not the inspiration, but it's the sort of what the Sunday Night Football theme. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
I've seen her live twice, by the way.
unbelievable.
Joan Jett.
Yep.
Oh, she's awesome. I love rock and roll. There's great songs by her. But I also put that on there because winter has been every time I've gone through a breakup, it's been during winter. So I've listened to that song also quite a bit during the winter as well. So it just happened to match that as well. Cover Me Up by Morgan Wallen. Originally a song that was by Jason Isbell. I prefer the Morgan Wallen cover, but it's just again lyrically, but also sonically, it kind of just feels like even when it's kind of onomatopoetic the way it transitions into when he says it's cold in this house and I ain't going out to chop wood. Like it feels very much like you're cozying by the fire and looking outside and you can barely see anything, and just kind of cozying up on a winter day with hot cocoa and all of that. So I thought that would be a really good fit. I mean, Colder Weather by Zac Brown Band is very much, I think, self-explanatory. The music video and everything is literally about not being able to get back to see a girl because he's stuck in colder weather. I got to see that performed for the first time live back in December when I went to a Zac Brown concert, and I pretty much was in tears. And then I already mentioned the Taylor Swift Back to December. Chris Stapleton, Cold. I loved that. I love that one. I mean, I think if you ask me about Mount Rushmore of just pure singing voices, Chris Stapleton's probably on it. But Cold, I love I love when artists use double meanings of words and kind of play off both of them. To use Cold for both the weather and why is this woman being so cold to him was just chef's kiss. I got to see him last year live for the first time, and that was, I think, the first time I'd ever heard that song. I couldn't stop listening to it for weeks. You already mentioned California Dreamin' and Landslide that were on here. Songs from California Dreamin' was from like my real childhood, so I remember that song not only because it just sounds like a winter day to me and feels like a winter day, especially with the way that the mamas kind of come in on the harmony after the papas say the original lines. But also just having the memories of going to school in my mom's, I think the third Honda Pilot that she's had out of about 27. And just going to school in winter, listening to it. It was track 2 on a mixed CD she was given by a friend of hers. And, I remember that to this day. Landslide, I don't think I need to even go into any expansion on that. It's a song that I sang at an open mic night at Seton Hall during the winter at one point, very much because it reminded me, or because it felt very wintry, where it's also like, it kind of is great for the season as well, because it takes the I've been afraid of changing that kind of signifies going into a new year, but also sort of the hope and the optimism that comes with moving forward into that new year. Or it doesn't have to be a year. It can be a place that you are in your life, a season in your life, as it will. So I loved that element of it. Billy Joel, Vienna. I feel like that one is also, that kind of speaks for itself. I feel like it's just it's pretty well known as a song that people just consider winter-y. I don't know how else to put it. Hometown Glory by Adele, I think, is one of the most underrated Adele songs from her like early career. I was a major Adele fan in middle school. And when I heard this song, Shane would be able to wax poetic much more about the musical components of it than I would. But there's just elements to the musicality of it and the instrumentation of it, and some of the instruments that are in it that I couldn't tell you what they are, but just the way it plays through my ears. There's about a 45-second interlude where she doesn't start singing yet. It's just the piano and something else. But it just feels to me like standing in the middle. Now, she's from the UK, but whether it's, whatever city you want to pick, NYC, Chicago, Philly, whatever city you want to, it just kind of feels like standing on a street sidewalk in the winter and kind of just not sure which way you're going. But also being very grateful for, where you came from. And and there was a lot of resonance for that song for me. And it was my number one most played song on my iPad for a long period of time when I was younger. And then going back to Morgan Wallen, because if anybody knows me, you won't be shocked that there's more than one song by him on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good.
Wondering About the Wind is kind of similarly what I mentioned earlier about Cold, about kind of playing off of lyrics in multiple different ways. He kind of talks about how there's a way to taste, you taste rain, and you know, all these different senses where you can associate a sense with a part of the weather. But he's talking once again about a woman, and she's basically just, her presence kind of comes and goes like the wind, even though he doesn't really see it, and he can't really it's not really tangible in a lot of ways. And I liked the fact that, and I think I don't need to explain why I would put wind on a playlist, especially if you're from the Northeast like I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, I could have made this playlist 3 times longer. I just kind of thought 12 was a good place to keep it.
Yeah, that's a requirement, is 12.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
just like the standard. Yeah.
Okay. But I'm glad that it is, because like I said, this could have been 3 times longer. Most of my playlists are in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate what y'all said, because I didn't go out of my way in terms of like genre or whatever the case may be. But I did try to sort of expand beyond the songs that I normally, quote unquote, would put on a playlist. And excuse me, try and think about and really try and stick with the theme, because my initial instinct was to go and kind of just go through what do they call it? The Spotify DJ or whatever they call that thing?
Yeah, the DJ.
My initial instinct was to kind of just go and see what the first 12 songs were and kind of start to use that as a base. But then I realized it kind of biases toward the most recent 12 songs you've listened to. And just because it's the most recent songs I've listened to doesn't necessarily mean that those songs are winter-y just because I've listened to them in the winter. So I kind of had a little bit of adventure with this as well, and kind of put a little bit of it kind of was an interesting and fun challenge. And it also gave me an opportunity to go back and listen to some of the older songs that I really hadn't listened to as much recently. Like, I haven't listened to Vienna as much recently. I haven't listened to California Dreamin' as much recently. I haven't listened to Bad to December as much recently. But or Wondering About the Wind. But it gave me a nice opportunity to kind of go back well into the deep cuts, if you want to say, of the 4,000 songs in my Spotify library, or 3,800, whatever it is. So yeah, thank you guys for the compilations that you guys did, because it was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna do this again, I think sometime in early August or late July. So
My
we're gonna
birthday.
Yes, we're gonna do that
My
around
birthday's the first week of August.
around there. So well, you know what we should do, Brandon, actually? I wonder if you'd be against this for the music. So 250 years of America. Songs
I like where this is going.
songs that make you think of America. I
love that.
Just
I love
America
that
songs.
I know it's gonna be on Scoop's playlist. It's gonna be half of it's gonna be Bruce Springsteen.
Just throw
I was gonna say,
You know me too damn well, and I hate it.
Is that
American?
is that a good idea? Do you want to do that like around early
like,
4th of July?
I think it's a good idea, but it just feels like we're gonna have like a lot of the same playlists of just like hearing like America. Fuck
Yeah, that's
like,
kind of
like,
kind of the idea. But we can.
I do feel, I kind of feel like we're all gonna have. I do think we're gonna have a lot less for some reason, I feel like we'd have a lot less overlap than we think.
I don't think there'd be much overlap. It's like, but we're all gonna think of like Bruce Springsteen. We're all gonna think of like, Bon Jovi. We're all gonna think of like, freaking like Hulk Hogan's theme song. Like,
we can develop it a little bit more. But
Hulk Hogan's theme song.
The freaking Real American thing? I am a real.
I'm not so worried
I don't know
about
that song.
I'm not so worried about overlap. It's more just like that's very limiting.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
what I'm saying.
That's fair.
Because it's
That's why I'm
just,
saying that there's an overlap.
when I think of America, I think of just like rock, basically.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
It is kind of limiting. Okay, we'll develop it more.
Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I love rock, but it's like,
I mean, it's like
typical-
we're all gonna have like Lee Greenwood, like
yeah.
yeah.
on
I will say, I would have had a hard time making that playlist without putting "God Bless the USA" on there.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
maybe
man.
it's a little limiting.
I mean, that is a good idea, though.
We
Something
can build, Brandon. We can build from
like
that.
that.
That's like the first
Yeah,
thing. I can
we
say.
got time.
How about that? How about this? We could we could switch up the not duration, but like the number of songs. Like, would it be perhaps more of a challenge to either confine it to 6, or would it be more of a challenge to say you have to bring it up to 18? Like, could we?
Not.
Could
I can't handle 18 songs from you guys. I can't do it. 12 is enough.
Well,
Wait.
you know
I
what,
haven't even weirder idea. This is gonna sound bad, but stick with me here. So America,
I love
250
that.
years of America. Each
Mhm.
person has a genre. So like one person, you have to do rock stuff that feels
Why
like
does it sound
America.
bad? That sounds great.
One like me, I have to do pop stuff that sounds like America. Shayna, do like you know
Sure.
what I mean?
Can everybody have 2 genres?
Sure, 2 genres, but
Because
you have to
genres
stick,
kind of overlap.
but you have to stick to those 2. Brandon, do you like that?
Yeah, I'm just
The only
trying to think.
difficulty I have with that is that there are a lot of songs that I feel like could count as more than one genre.
Yeah, that might be an issue. We'll
That's why I
develop it
said
more.
like 2 or 3.
2 or
then
3.
you-
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
for overlap.
That's the way I think. We're thinking out loud here, but I think it'd be fun to do something where it's like America, yeah, baby.
All right, I
let's
get
just-
jazz, soul, and R&B. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, we're just gonna leave all the slow stuff.
Oh man, that's gonna rule out about
It's not
25 songs
slow.
on my
It's
4,000.
tasteful.
It's not slow, it's tasteful. No, but funny enough, that's how I feel about
Oh.
Shane's. Like I would listen to that like during holidays, Christmas time.
Ouch.
Scoops weirdly, and also Brandon's to an extent, even though not as much. It feels a little more summery to me because those are the kind of songs I actually would listen to in summer, bizarrely. Just how my taste is. But I liked how now both of yours kind of connected in different ways. I know you guys kind of went to it more deep than I could, but I thought it was very interesting. Did you guys understand what I was trying to do with mine or no? Did you guys get it or no?
I mean,
Yeah.
I said it seemed kind of like, romantic vibes.
I basically said, okay, these are the songs I'm listening to while I'm on dating apps and
I
pissed
was
off
gonna
about.
I was
Yeah.
you know what I was thinking of when I heard it last night? I was saying I bet when Rob made this, he was thinking about like just his personal feelings towards relationships and dating apps. I was like,
No,
I
100.
I have a
I'm
feeling.
literally in my head. I'm like the way I did this was well, again, it was 7 months ago. I have been on dates since then, but my whole thought was, how do I feel when I scroll on Hinge and talk to somebody, or Bumble, or what? Like that was kind of the idea, but it was more so like, how can I take that framework of me being or trying to be in young love, trying to experience that? What does that sound like to me? And so when I did it, that was the focus. It was like, because when I think of winter and cuffing, it's like, all right, it goes well, and then it just like things are going well. You think you're gonna marry the person, yeah, and then poof. And that was the idea, was creating something that feels like it was going great, and or also not just great. You're in different phases. You're in the like romantic phase. You're in the phase where you're like friends with benefits. You're always having like, I'm just gonna say, you're always having sex. Like some of it is that, right? And so like Writing on the Wall, I put on there because Post Malone, but also Cardi B, Stefan Diggs, whatever's going on with them. I'm not going to get to it. But when I put this on there, that was the intention, was like, hey, I always pick an artist that has some connection to a football player, recent. So Cardi B won that this year. Starboy, that's my favorite version of Starboy. I wanted to do that for Brandon. Tate McRae, again, Jersey thing. Tate McRae's really where the playlist starts. No, I'm not in love. So you kind of go to a place where it's like, I'm not in love with you. I'm just playing with you, I guess, just having as much sex.
But it's
as humanly
funny. But it's
possible.
funny because that song is about her being in denial that she really is in love.
Right, exactly.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
and then mean it kind of is like, do you actually mean that you want to go into a different direction? Right. So that John Mayer, New Light, you're kind of like, hey, let's see each other in this light
But
of
the
being
thing
in
is,
a relationship.
what I noticed is that even though you're saying that about all these relationship type things that go on, it fits the winter theme because they all kind of have, it's all kind of has like a cold like undertone to it.
Oh yeah,
Like
because
very like,
again, I'm going here, and then I'm slowly going, phew, right?
Yeah.
I'm slowly going, this is a bad idea. We can't do this. And so like New Light, Heaven, really want to be with you, really want to
Mhm.
build a connection. Then here's the downhill. Christmas sucks. You hit the Christmas season. I hate you. I hate
Yeah.
Christmas. I hate Santa. I hate everything about Christmas because I'm not here with you. The big goodbye. It's like, okay, I'm kind of reconciling it a little bit. Same with what would you do? So you're kind of having the conversation of like, hey, you cheated. And this is for men or women. Like, you cheated. What do you think I would do if I was cheated? Like, what would you do, essentially? Somebody else, you see them on Instagram kissing somebody else, going to a game, that angers you, that pisses you off because you thought you would be with them forever. Then you're kind of reconciling a little bit more. You're just like, you're kind of at the end of that, the young love, where it's like anything can happen, right? Crap happens. Let's see where things go. And Hold My Hand, Worry Less. Did you guys understand why I put that in there lyrically or no? Did you get why that's the last song? Because it's intentionally the last song.
I mean, I
Very
don't pay
intentional.
attention to lyrics in songs, so I don't know.
Okay, Brandon.
I'm the
do
exact
you
opposite.
under-
I'm the exact opposite. That's my main focus.
Yeah.
Did you understand
usually-
why I put that as the last one? Did you get it?
Hold My Hand, Worry Less.
Did you get it? Did you get it from a lyrical perspective? Because this is where I make the big final transition.
I have an
Well-
idea, but I'm not 100% sure.
Brandon, do you have an idea of why that's the last song? Because it's very, very intentional. It's a really good crescendo to everything I was trying to do, and that's why I put it on there at the end.
I mean, that almost seems like it becomes like, because all your whole playlist, it's like it's a relationship. That one seems like it's finally breaking away from any kind of relationship type of thing. But I wouldn't even I don't know how to pinpoint it. Like I know what it's trying to say lyrically, just on face value, but I don't know why it's there in your scheme of things.
Okay,
It.
so
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Scoop, do you have a thought?
Well, he talks about like the narrator, whatever you want to say, told the wife he could sleep in. Talks about his wife and his daughter and his friends and whatnot. So I'm guessing this is just like there's a relationship that finally did result in like a family and whatnot.
You're there. The idea is you're in your 40s. So the male or female in this story that I'm telling is basically like you had this young love, someone cheated, it was awful, it ended awfully, and it sticks with you forever. And then you grow older, you mature, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're married, you have children, you have a house, you cut grass, you have friends, you do taxes, right? Like you do adult stuff. You're talking 20 years later.
I would hope you
And-
do your taxes.
I hope you do your taxes. And then basically the
Don't do a
story
Wesley Snipes.
Don't do a Wesley Snipes. So basically, the idea of it is very much like, okay, like the person, I thought of it as me as a male. The female, the wife in the relationship with the kids, let's say it's like 2 to 3 kids, she's breaking down because she's like, there's so much going on. We have to do so much stuff. We have to take this kid to practice, this kid to school, this thing. She's breaking down. And the guy goes, and so he's doing more around the house and things like that to help the kids. And then the chorus, I think, is just a perfect crescendo of this. It's the chorus is, yeah, I love the way we move slowly through the day. You are all that's making sense. So you're telling your wife, you are all that's making sense. You're the reason this is happening. hold my hand and worry less since I let you in, which is the idea of like, hey, I was really broken down by this last relationship with my last person. I was depressed. I was sad. I was struggling. Since I let this woman or man, however you want to phrase it, into my life and she became my wife, my husband, I was able to reconcile what happened before and build something new. So since I let you in, we sit back and watch the world spin. So go through each day, watch the world spin. We sit back and watch the world spin, hold my hand and worry less, because you basically become this person who is so traumatized by that young relationship, so traumatized by it, you come around in your 30s, your 40s, and you're like, I have kids, I have a wife. And now your wife, in my frame of mind, your wife is struggling with how the relationship is going. You have less time for you guys because you have kids, you have taxes, you do whatever. But basically you turn into the person that's comforting your significant other and say, I went through this and you helped me get through those emotional moments. And I'm here to help you. And I'm here to help you realize, hey, this life that we built, I wouldn't, because that's my goal with a relationship. It's like this life that I've built, whether it's here doing the show with you guys or having kids, like all of that together to me is like the perfect life. And so that was the idea, was saying at the end, you're turning around and comforting someone you love and saying, hey, you're the main reason I'm here doing the things that I love and having these children, having these kids. And no matter how hard it gets, hold my hand, worry less. We got this. And my vision is that they're just married for like till they die and their kids are, grown and everything. And they live a happy life, but they have this really tender moment of like, hey, I know they have this really tender moment of we're really struggling. Can we do this? And that moment kind of puts them forward after 10, 15 years of marriage into 40, 50 years. And it all kind of harkens back to young love in your 20s, building to your 30s and 40s, where you actually are able to build something. So does that make sense of how I frame this? Of just like, I framed it as young love sucks. There's cheating. There's all this crap. And then at the end, it's like, all right, I actually had a happy ending and a really turnaround moment for the person. And do you see how emotional I was kind of getting by doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I just thought that was a great way to close it. And with that, we're closing our Football After Hours. Another show done. First off, thank you to K&K Sports Network. Thank you to Scoop for helping us set this up. We've been thinking about this for months. And so thank you to Scoop for that, setting us up. With that, thank you to Kurt. Thank you to Kenny. Thank you to Bobby as well for Surge Sports. If you want to catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, it's all there. If you go on our socials, you'll see our Spotify and our Amazon Music as well. This will get posted on there tomorrow. So yeah, there's plenty of ways to watch us. A lot more places than normal. So we're very thankful for that. But very thankful to be here. And of course, Trevor says thank you. We thank you to Trevor and everyone else to us. Thank you again to the best crew in the business. Brandon, Scoop, Shane, myself, Robert. A great combine. Got to go through a lot of prospects. Got to have some fun with the music. Next week's show is going to be a little different. Kind of structured like this, but very like NFL news, like the stuff that we missed over the last month, pretty much the last month that we've been gone. Because we took 2 weeks off after the Super Bowl. New stuff, doing our movies from last year. So if you haven't been listening up to this point, we'll give you a sense of kind of the movies that Shane picks out during the season that he'll pick out next year for what we did last year, how that works. We'll do our rankings of those movies.
This is pretty cool right now. What that Matt Hasselbeck is working with Fernando Mendoza on the field.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool.
I don't like the comp. I don't like the comp they have for Fernando. They're comparing him to Matt Ryan.
It's weird. I don't like it.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like it. But yeah, I love how we're finishing right as Mendoza's checking in. But it's fine. Go. Let's go watch Mendoza. But overall, yeah, we'll do news, we'll do the top 10 stuff, and then we're also doing weekly movies. Off season's very different. Shane normally has the picks. I kind of have an idea of like the structure of different things. So the structure is very much like directors, movies that are coming out in the future, different things like that. So we're doing the movies from last year, we're doing news, and then we're doing a very amazing Netflix film. We're doubling up the next 2 weeks with the Extraction series. Chris Hemsworth. Extraction 1 is next week, and then the week after is Extraction 2. So Extraction 1 is next week. So that's kind of a preview of what we're doing next week. But yeah, we're very excited to be here. Thank you for a great first show. We can say for everyone here that this was an amazing experience to get to do this. So yeah, thank you to everybody. We'll see you next week. I think Sunday, next Sunday, I think is my thought process. Next Saturday or next Sunday, something around there. We'll plan. But my guess is probably Sunday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll let you know in advance. But yeah, so Extraction 1 next week is our film, along with the movies we did last year, ranking them, and just NFL news and notes before we get into Shane's whiteboard segments that he's going to do for us in the next month and change about. But again, thank you, Brandon, Scoop, Shane, myself, Robert, out. We'll see you next weekend. Enjoy the rest of the combine. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, everybody. Peace out.